In April 2023, Margaret and I visited Death Valley National Park in California. We found the land of many layers. Come along with us and see what we found. So this is Death Valley. This is a view from Dante's view, and you can see almost the entire valley. It's really vast and surrounded on each side by mountains. The park extends into the mountains. This was taken at Mesquite Dunes, which is perhaps one of the best places in Death Valley where you can see all the layers that the valley has to offer. This extends into other areas as well. And you can even see layers and colors at night. This is the view from Zabriskie Point, which is one of the most famous stops in the park. It's near Furnace Creek and is just off the road and a short climb to the top. And you get a complete view of this part of the valley here. And you also see all the ripples and ridges and textures that are so characteristic of just many, many parts of Death Valley. And then you can even see a snow-covered peak in the distance in April. Just down the road from Zabriskie Point is 20 Mule Team Canyon. It's a drive that will make you feel alone and like you're on another planet with moguls and dunes that are just kind of indescribable. And then if you come back at night, you can see the stars and the Milky Way, and it's just absolutely amazing. Another famous point in the park is Artist Drive, and particularly the Artist Palette Overlook. Here we are at the Artist Palette Overlook in the afternoon sun, and you can see the colors on the rocks. There's also a trail there that you can scramble down and take to view the rocks more closely if you wish. And it's just, the colors are just unbelievable, and I'm going to show you in a second some photographs that will make that even more clear. Here they are. And it may be even more spectacular under the stars. Just unbelievable colors in the rocks. Beautiful night skies as well. Here we are at sunrise at the famous Racetrack, a dry lake bed in a very remote part of Death Valley, one of the most famous landmarks. This photograph shows the mosaic-like pattern in the lake bed. The Racetrack is best known for stones that mysteriously slide across the dry lake bed and leave trails. The prevailing theory is that in winter, rain freezes, leaving a ice sheet, and that wind blows the rocks across the lake bed. Here's some more views of the rocks and the trails that they leave. Blowing across on a thin sheet of ice? I'm not sure I buy that. I think something more mysterious may be at work. Come and judge for yourself. We stayed overnight at the Racetrack and got some amazing Milky Way shots, and there was a big KP spike that actually produced some aurora activity visible as far south as Death Valley. Pretty amazing. It was quite a night. On the way to or from the Racetrack, you can see Ubehebe Crater, which is just an amazing sight on its own. There also are Joshua trees in Death Valley, and they were blooming when we were there, which is apparently quite unusual. This is an area known as the Devil's Golf Course, and it's said that only the devil would play from here. It's certainly not Augusta National in terms of fairway conditions, to say the least. It's an interesting area, and the colors on the hills that surround it are quite beautiful. This is Badwater Basin, one of the most famous areas in the park that is supposedly the lowest area in the park and maybe in the United States. We just found a salt flat, and apparently we did not venture out far enough to see the interesting patterns in the salt that you see in a lot of photographs. We took a trip from Stovepipe Wells to see the Wildrose charcoal kilns. It involves a trip along a winding road about 26 miles, and you climb from 5 feet above sea level at Stovepipe Wells to over 5,000 feet at this viewpoint where you can see snow-capped peaks. On the side of the road we saw some free-range donkeys, and they were certainly cute little animals. And here we are at the charcoal kilns. These were built in 1877 and were used to produce charcoal that was used in smelting ore at local mining operations, mining operations in the vicinity. They were only in operation for about 3 years, so obviously it was an economic failure, but they're preserved in amazing condition. On our drive to Dante's View in late April of 2023, we saw many wildflowers along the road, all kinds of colors, purple, yellow, and gold. Beautiful. And here we are at Dante's View, the highest viewpoint in the park, which just provides an expansive view of the entire valley. You can see the salt flats, the mountains on either side, and even the snow-covered peaks in the background. Just absolutely stunning. If you want to visit Death Valley, here are some things we learned that might be helpful. First, especially if you're coming from the east, Las Vegas is a good base to start. It has many flights, many rental car options, and it's only about 2.5 hours to Death Valley. While staying in Las Vegas, you may want to visit Valley of Fire State Park and Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area, which are both amazing places to visit. Death Valley is known as the hottest place on Earth, and it is hot. This picture was taken in late April. Be sure to carry lots of water with you while you're in Death Valley. Know that Death Valley is expensive, especially in the Furnace Creek area. These gas prices were about double what we pay in Georgia, and gas in Nevada, just up the road, was about $2 less per gallon. Food is also quite expensive. If you stay in Death Valley, there are really two options. The first is the Furnace Creek area. We stayed at the ranch at Furnace Creek, which had very nice grounds. It's close to the main sites. It's quite expensive. Now, we did not stay at the inn at Furnace Creek, which is near the ranch and is supposedly fancier and even more expensive. We also stayed at Stovepipe Wells. It's near to Mesquite Dunes, but it's more of a drive to most of the main sites. It's less expensive, it's a little more basic, but it's nice enough. We found good food and nice people at both locations. So that was our visit to Death Valley, an absolutely fascinating and beautiful place. Remember that Death Valley is a very harsh environment, so if you go, please use common sense and take necessary precautions.